Hi there, it's Colleen Belk, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about how it is that substances get across cell membranes. So one example of when a substance would need to move across a cell membrane is if you were to eat something, it goes to your stomach, your small intestine, and then it gets absorbed into the bloodstream, and from there it needs to make its way across the plasma membrane of cells. So why would something need to cross a cell membrane? Maybe it needs to be metabolized for energy. It could be a building block for the synthesis of another molecule. So substances have to get across cell membranes all the time. We say that the cell membrane is selectively permeable, which means that some substances can pass pretty easily and others are blocked from passing. So selective permeability means some substances pass while others are blocked. Some of the substances that pass pretty easily through cell membranes are small molecules and uncharged molecules like carbon dioxide. Water is another example. Oxygen. So this is an oxygen molecule making its way across the membrane. And these molecules will move back and forth across the membrane until they establish an equilibrium where there's equal numbers on both sides of the membrane. Larger molecules have a more difficult time crossing, like this macromolecule. Can't cross unaided. Neither can charged molecules or ions like these guys. They can't cross the membrane without some help. And that help typically comes in the form of a protein that gets embedded in the membrane and serves as kind of a channel through which these substances can move. So it serves as a channel through which charged molecules can move, or larger macromolecules. Some substances that are hydrophobic can kind of dissolve in the membrane and then pop through on the other side. So this core of the membrane is hydrophobic, and that's because it's made of a phospholipid bilayer, so two layers of phospholipids. So here's one phospholipid made of a fatty acid tail in yellow, and then the phosphate head group up here. And then here's another layer of phospholipid, making that phospholipid bilayer. And because these fatty acid tails are hydrophobic molecules can dissolve in them and sort of pop from one side of the membrane to the other. Another time we see proteins in the membrane is when we need to pump a substance from one side of the membrane to the other. So sometimes we want a situation where we have a lot of substance on one side of the membrane and then less on the other side of the membrane. And to do that, we can use protein pumps embedded in the membrane. So this is when we want a concentration gradient across the membrane in a particular substance. So in summary, water, carbon dioxide, and oxygen can cross the plasma membrane pretty readily, while other substances require the help of membrane proteins to move from one side of the membrane to the other.